just out on the outer side of the sleeve, we will cut a groove there, a 40 thou groove. We cut a 40 thou groove, and we cut it 40 thou deep, and then we take a 60 thou copper wire, and we'll start tapping it in there right round till it comes to the edge, and clip it off nicely, and just tap it. And what that does is when you lock your head onto the block and you boost the engine, the gasket can't move away, and you don't sit with slight overheat problems and stuff. So on the O-rings, we're going to do that on the Mini, and I'll show you how to do it. Right, next thing is when you strip a cylinder head, in a head, in the newer cars, there's hydraulic lifters. This is a hydraulic lifter, and you get the other ones, it's called a shim. This is a shim. You can see it's deep in there, and it's got a machine surface there. Once you see these things, you don't want to mix them. Where you take it out, you must put it back. And even the valve, if you take that valve out, you must put it back exactly where it was. Don't put this one in another hole, because then the size difference is not right, and then you have to come and adjust this loose part, the shim part, and you have to re-shim that head, and it's quite a job to do on some things. Now mostly on hydraulic lifters, you see this hydraulic lifter is quite deep, and then you'll see on this one it's got a round here, it's around there in the inside. Alright, if you have a car that's got this type of lifter and you change the camshaft, you can't use this type of lifter, aftermarket hydraulic lifter, because that one that's around, what happens is when you rev the engine hard, this lifter is going to deflate. Well, once it starts to deflate, it's got a, and then it will touch you on the side of the spring, and it's going to throw the keepers out, and then what happens then, it's going to throw the valve out, and the whole engine it's buggered up. So if you modify, look out for things like that. That's a small thing a lot of people skip. They just buy stuff and put it in, and then the head break, and then they come ask you, yeah, but we put new stuff. Say, did you put the right thing? Yeah, no, we took the old ones out, but the old one was actually the right one. You see that it's nice and deep. If you rev this one hard, this retainer part, it won't touch there in the inside, and it won't throw the keepers out. This is also hydraulic lifters. This is 308 Holden, and this is actually a Toyota 4Y, and it's exactly the same thing. Now these ones here by us is over 2 grand for a set of 16, and this for a set of 16 is only 400 bucks. So the money, and people say, yeah, but it's not going to work right. It's exactly the same thing. This one and this one comes out of the same factory. There's no difference. And the thing is, if this one is damaged, we just put a new one in, because it's cheap and cost effective. We can spend money elsewhere where we can put proper parts. Right. Now in that hydraulic lifter, if you take your cylinder head off and you take the lifter off, before you can put this, and say you recon the whole head, before you can put this thing back, you have to put it on a piece of aluminium plate, and then you tap it, and then this part will come out. This is what's in that lifter. And then once you take this thing apart, let me just take it apart quickly. Okay, there we have it apart. It looks like that. There's a small spring inside, and then there's oil, and then this part. Then you clean this stuff and you assemble it again, and you just press it back into your lifter, and then this thing must be soft. Once it's soft, you can put it back into the head. The engine will fill this up to the right height, and so you won't have a noise on the engine, because if you just put this thing in, you're going to bend the valves. So don't do that. Now let's talk quickly about oil seals and valve stem seals. This is a valve stem seal that comes on the valve guide. This is your valve guide, and the seal comes on top here. On this valve seals, you want the brown ones, the red ones, the green ones, the grey ones, but you never put the black seals on. The black seals is the worst seals. Those things don't last. Couple of months and then they start leaking and it's just a headache, and then you have to do it again. Even on the oil seals, this black oil seals, I don't use this stuff. This stuff just leaks oil. They get hard very quick, especially when there's a lot of changes in weather and your engine is hot and it suddenly rains. These things after a couple of days and then they get hard. What we use is this brown ones. This brown seals. These are Viton seals. These things, you get a Viton and then you get the other one, the red one is a silicone seal. These are the ones I use. These things you can put it on and you're not going to sit with the oil leak. So remember, don't use the black, use the brown, red and green. Those will help you out. Alright. Okay, I'll get us, oh yeah, bearings. Let's talk about bearings quickly. Now this is a begin bearing for that GM engine. This is an aluminium based bearing. I scratched it there, you can see the shiny part on it. If you build an engine that you're gonna run high performance or anything, you don't want aluminium based bearings. You want copper based bearings like KS, Spicer, NDC, ACL. Those are the bearings you want. What happens with these bearings in a racing engine? These things hammer the crank, and not long then the crank's got some play in it, and once this sees onto the crank, sometimes that crank definitely is going to be scrapped. So don't use aluminium based bearings, use only copper bearings. The copper bearing will be a dull color here. It will be like a dull grey brownish color. I'm a bit colorblind so I can't see it properly. So that's what you want. You don't want aluminium based, copper based bearings. Here's another bearing. You see how shiny is this bearing? It immediately tells you this is an aluminium based bearing. So don't use this. Buy proper Spicer or KS bearings. You'll be much better off. Okay. Let me just tell you. Okay. I stay in South Africa. Where I stay, it's called Gauteng, the big part, the province. And Gauteng is divided in two. It's Joburg and Pretoria. Gauteng means place of gold. I'm not actually English. I speak Afrikaans. So just bear with me, and we'll get the channel lekker on the way. Sorry, lekker means awesome. It's just a common word we use here. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching.